In this lesson, we go through how to manage and set your financial goals. Now, to be a pro at managing your finances, you first need a bird's eye view of your personal and business expenses. Once you have this, you can work out the absolute minimum you need to bring in, and therefore how many days you actually need to work to cover those expenses each week, month, and year. Once you cover this baseline, everything else is extra money in your pocket, which means you don't have to overwork aimlessly and take on every project you get offered. Instead, you'll have more clarity when it comes to choosing the ones that contribute to your happiness, your portfolio, and your wallet. That's why we're also going to dive into a new tool designed to help you manage your income, expenses, assets, and your goals in 3 easy steps. And I can tell you now, I don't have any financial background in the slightest. However, I did know that I wanted a way to clearly show how much I was earning compared to how much I was spending, so I could then be as lean as possible to reduce any of those extra expenses that weren't needed. I took this a step further and wanted to have some financial milestones to work towards. So if you have a financial goal in mind too, like saving for a property, a trip around the globe, or investing in a new office space for your company, you can use this very same tool for your financial planning. This tool will be your one-stop shop to manage your cheddar, your moolah, your kashish, your dough, your smackaroonies money. Okay, you get the point. Let's move on. Let's jump into this tool, which is broken up into 3 simple sections. Number 1, income and expenses. Essentially, your income, which typically includes your wages, salary, dividends, director's loans, etc., and your expenses, which are your personal and business expenses. Assets and liabilities. Assets are things that you own that have monetary value, like cash, investments, inventory, office equipment or gear, real estate, or any vehicles. Liabilities are places that you owe money, like bank debt, mortgage or rent, money owed to suppliers, wages and taxes. And lastly, goals. Your financial goals that you may have which tie seamlessly into your total earnings, so you can easily plan your personal and professional investments. So starting with income and expenses. This section is to give you a top-level view of your personal and business expenses into categories that you can customize, as well as a really simple breakdown to see exactly where you're spending your money, so you can reduce down those costs to only what's essential. The great thing about knowing how much your expenses are each month and year is that you can see exactly how much you need to bring in at a minimum, and then how much is left over is then put into investments or savings, which we'll jump onto later in this lesson. So starting with monthly expenses. Here you can punch in your estimates of each item's monthly cost. You have preset categories which can be changed as you wish. To customize them, change them in the table here, then type the same name next to the pie chart and you're all set. You want to go ahead and fill out your personal and professional expenses in these sections that you typically face each month. If you're unsure of what to input as they vary each month, pop in the average amount. Let's do an example. Imagine we have this much for travel, food, leisure, and any subscriptions that have benefit to your business, like Dropbox, Google Drive, any accounts like this. You'll go through this process separating out anything that is personal or business. If you're renting or own a property, you can even break down the costs here so that you can then have insight into where you can reduce costs. The yearly expenses are really handy, as you may have subscriptions like for the Adobe Creative Cloud that you pay each year rather than monthly. So you can anticipate these lump sum costs ahead of time. You may also have subscriptions to video platforms like Vimeo, Amazon Prime for your business, stock footage websites, business insurance, your website domain, and hosting platform. The idea is to input every cost you have for your business. And once you have this overview, you could then say, hold on, maybe this cost isn't essential for my business. I don't need iCloud, Dropbox, WeTransfer, and G Drive, so I could cancel those subscriptions and even delete them here to see how much I will save each month and year just from those decisions. You have the option to include further expenses such as corporation tax or VAT here, so you know exactly how much is set aside as well as the total amount that you currently have. Now on to step 2, assets and liabilities. Here you can start with assets. These are things that you own that are worth a significant amount. These may be items like your laptop, desktop computer, camera, hard drives, your vehicle, etc. Next we have liabilities. Anything you owe like credit card fees, student loans, a mortgage, things like that. These are broken down into short-term and long-term to manage any debt much easier. Lastly, you'll see what are called liquid assets. These are similar to assets, although liquid assets are assets that could be easily, securely, and quickly exchanged for legal tender. If you're someone who has multiple accounts where you receive money via payment platforms like PayPal, Stripe, or Go Cardless, or you have an online bank account with companies like Revolut or Monzo, this is where you input all of your current balances. This is separated with a personal and a business section for your expenses. You could even add in things like funds, stocks, or cryptocurrency that you've invested here, as they are also considered liquid assets. For each table, you have your total amounts next to each section, and the grand total of everything here in one simple place. Now that you have all of your finances in place, you can move on to step 3, which are your financial goals. Here you may have a big milestone of investing in new gear for your business, taking a much needed vacation, or even buying a property. This is where you enter the total amount of your goal, and it calculates how much is needed to save. You could go even further and use the property template to enter all of the expected expenses in an itemized format. The beauty of all of this is that everything you do inside of this tool is linked with one another. So every time you update your total assets, this will feed into your goals to see exactly how much you've saved and how much you have left off to hit your target. So you'll never miss out on hitting those goals. As a quick recap, step 1 is to dive into the expenses section to input your monthly and yearly expenses. Customize each field in the table and pie chart section to fit your lifestyle. Step 2 is to input your assets and liabilities to see your net worth. Include everything of value, whether that's cash, investments, or items that you own. And step 3 is to set your financial goals. Pop in your goal total into the section to know exactly how long it will take for you to reach this goal, based on the numbers you put in earlier. Use the itemized section as you wish to get a more detailed breakdown. So that's how you become a boss at managing your finances. I would recommend reviewing this on a monthly basis. I personally set a reminder at the first of each month to take stock and spend 15 minutes to review and update this, which gives you a great perspective on how many days you want to book in for that following month. Be sure to check out our goal setting lesson if you haven't already. This ties in perfectly to achieving your financial goals, as well as the how to raise your rates lesson, which can show you how to increase your income to smash your targets sooner than you realize. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.